My mother, my Aunt Patty and my mother, they are always together. They're only 1 year apart. My aunt still comes to my mother's house every single day to see her. They're together every single night. There was this one time when they both had went out. They went out to, mingle with a couple of their deaf friends. They were young. This was years ago. And I remember when they came back home, it was raining really bad. There was a storm out. It was thundering. There was a tornado warning going on that night. And I was over at my Aunt Patty's house. So, excuse me.
Okay, so remember, what do you need to do here?
I need to back up a little bit.
You need to have some lag time.
Right.
You're trying to guess what's coming up next, so you need to do some lag time so you can get the story the way
You put me in a different place.
I know.
It's
So
okay.
sorry. I know you probably wasn't doing it.
It's okay. It's okay.
My Aunt Patty came to my mother's house. My Aunt Patty was outside at the time of the storm, of the tornado. And I was just a little child. And I was crying. And I was telling my aunt that she needed to come in the house. And she refused to. She wanted to watch the tornado. And both my aunt and my mother were making fun of me. Because I was crying and I wanted them to come into the house. They told me not to worry and, to calm down. And there was another time my mom would always tell me that she was going to put me on a hot air balloon and that she would never see me again.
Hold on one second. So I'm looking down, I'm trying to think, I'm not right for y'all, but I'm still looking at you like, there's one time, my mom told me.
Right.
So use lag, let me, you know what I'm saying? Is it somebody, yeah, oh, and I kind of just make this, try to keep knocking this guys in your head. Most of the time when you're interpreting, it's not everyone interpreters. You're hearing people who don't know, so it just sounds like to them, like, what? Because they don't understand, that just looks like this to them. You know what I mean? Really. So you got to really think somebody is listening to me.
Okay.
Somebody is, when your voice is like, somebody is listening to me. Somebody is listening to me. Just try to keep that in your mind.
Yeah, you're focusing on yourself.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay.
One time, my mother told me that she was going to get on a hot air balloon and that I would never see her again. It was going to go far away and I would never see her again. And I started crying. I was so upset. And she made fun of me again. My mother always told me that I was adopted. And I would tell my mother, but you had pictures of me while you were pregnant. And then she would tell me that it was just a pillow inside it. She wasn't really pregnant with me. And I would cry again.
Those are all true stories. Just
That's all.
Sounds like her.
Sounds like something a sibling would do. Like, your mom loves you, right? What?
You have to know them. They are hilarious. Hilarious.
My mother is also like my big sister. She's really sweet. She's not really.
It's an old sign. Sorry, it's an old sign. Sorry, I just threw an old sign at you.
My mother is always teasing me. She's just a big jokester.
Much better word. Sorry, I had to say it. There you go. That was the intent of what I was trying to
Did
say.
you come off your lip?
Yeah. It's one of those signs that doesn't necessarily have like a word. It's an
Yeah.
intent sign.
But it always reminds me of diabetes for some reason.
Right.
That's
Sugar,
what
sugar,
I'm saying.
sugar.
She's really sweet.
But right, it's one of those signs that. But you use the right word. That she's.
Kind of reminds me of this
Jokester,
sign. Like
jokester.
it's hard to. People say, "What does that mean?" I'm like,
Amy does it a lot, and I never understand that.
Yeah.
I think
That's a
yours-
new generational sign.
So you
but
said
it's
she's
still
not
like
good,
you know,
but she's
they'll use it in different ways. Some people are like, "Ooh, my bad," but some people use it like.
She doesn't mean to be mean.
She doesn't mean to be mean. Okay.
Right. She
You
just
know how
means
you know
to
when in
extra.
context
Okay.
you put one
Yeah.
word with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that like, what is, like people go like,
There you go.
like that's like a,
A knot in your throat or something?
Well, you'll see it a couple of different ways actually. Like, ooh, I was wrong, or like, ooh, they got me, or
okay.
it's one of those put in context, not a
Yeah.
one word
Okay.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So sorry I threw that at you.
You're fine. It's okay.
No, this is the way you learn new stuff, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my father, on the other hand, he never jokes around with me. He's not a jokester like my mother. He's always loving towards me. He'll play around sometimes, but he's nothing like my mother. They're the total opposite. They're completely different.
Okay, good. Switch.
I serviced a voice for you.
You can do it. Okay, well, before you start, Arissa, I think you got